Good evening. My name is Amy Vincent, and I am a part of the Open 14 leadership team. And I was asked by my teammates to come to you and share why Open 14 is important to me. In doing that, I would go ahead and ask in advance for your grace, because I'm going to have to be transparent. So this is a project I have probably been very intimately involved with. The new building, the campaign, because I was on the board of trustees for 3 years, and we took a very intense journey in getting us to the point that we are right now. And I would have to tell you that I've probably worked very hard in keeping it at an arm's length, because I'd been very frustrated over the project. Frustrated because I wanted it done by now. I like projects and I like to see them completed. And I don't like for them to take a long period of time. Frustrated over many things. And I'm sure there's people in the audience sitting here tonight, or people that you know in the congregation who might have voiced the same frustrations and emotions. However, being part of the Open 14 team, my husband and I have been a part of it. So I've been allowing him, I've kind of distanced myself and having him go to the meetings and participate in the phone calls, and I'm just a name on an email and thinking that would be okay because maybe nobody would notice, and eventually we'll get to the deadline and everything will pass. However, that just wasn't enough, because God really started working and reminding me that what I was doing and my level of participation wasn't as if I was working for Him, and I wasn't giving my best. Giving my best to a church family, to a place that, in my opinion, He's done His best work in my life and a lot of people that I've gotten to journey with. He's given Zarephath an identity. We're a place of refinement. And how many people do we know, even ourselves, that we're sitting there, know He has done refinement in our hearts and lives? And praise God, because I like what He's done in my life, and I like what He's doing in the lives of the people surrounding me. So we had a phone call last week in preparation for the launch, and we're all excited to bring the campaign forward, and very excited because one of the things, we're going to get to give site tours, and you actually get to walk in the building, and how great it would be. And I actually was a member of the site tour team, and it was very fulfilling, and I loved it. But something very interesting happened in that phone call. We were assigned tasks, and someone, John Simons, our leader, said, in the end, "Oh, Amy and Trey, go ahead and get your story together because you're going to be up next." And as I'm on this call, I'm sitting in the parking lot in the back of the CMC, and I'm looking at this building, and I'm on this call, and I'm chatting with my colleagues, and I'm thinking, here it is, and it's in a massive rainstorm, and I can just see the rain coming down through the light. And so I just completed the call, came on across the street here. We are living in temporary housing here until we're able to move into our new house. And so I pulled in the parking lot, getting ready to get out of my car, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at that new dike. And I'm thinking, and I just pray out loud. And I say, Lord, I don't have a story. So if I've got to give a story, you're going to have to give it to me, because I don't know what it is. I don't have it. I'm so emotionally, my emotions have frustrated me and distraught me and have turned my vision the wrong way. And I need you to realign me and to remind me what this is about. And I don't know if any of you have ever prayed out loud, something like that, and when he answers, he shows up, and he kind of shows off too. You know, his sovereignty is clearly seen. And we have a saying in our house that we live by, that he hides it for the hungry. And I cried out and said, God, I want to be hungry. I want to be hungry for this vision, and I want to be hungry for this journey. So I go in, stay up late working on something else, go to bed probably about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and at 5 a.m. it hits. In the middle of a dead sleep, I hear those sirens going off. Being from the South, we grow up, you hear a siren, it means a tornado. So you just spring out of bed and you go do what you need to do, and that's find shelter. So I immediately woke up, my heart's pacing, and I'm thinking, it's got to be a tornado, but my phone didn't go off. So I grab my phone, my husband Trey wakes up, I check the weather, there's nothing, not even a rain cloud. But the sirens are going off. So my heart's pacing, and I don't know what's going on, so I go to social media, right? Because isn't that what we all do? When we need to know something, we go to social media. So at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm checking Facebook, and sure enough, there it is. It says, Manville sirens going off, flooding occurring. And then I realized it just got real. Because see, I'd never had to experience that, because I just get to come to the campus and I get to leave, right? And but I never had to physically walk through that experience to the point where it penetrated me. So they finally go off. About 6:30, the bulldozers come through. They're moving equipment. And at 7:15, we get a knock on our door saying, you can stay or you can go. But if you stay, there will be no way off the campus, because the roads are flooded, and as there is now, there's one way out. And if you go that way, there will be about 6 to 8 inches of water, but you can make it, but you gotta go now. So I have a toddler, and the thought of being trapped in a house with a toddler alone is terrifying, and most mothers understand what I'm talking about. However, but they went ahead and just did the brief description of what could happen. They don't know what's going to happen on the other side of the dike. They know that Manville's flooding, the water hasn't peaked yet, so we don't know what the day is going to bring. So we choose to leave. Some people stayed. We chose to leave. We pack up, we pack enough. They said, you'll probably get to come home tonight. But, you know, that's a probability. So we go ahead and we pack up and we drive. And we have to drive through about 8 inches of water right over here before you get to Schoolhouse Road just to get out. And we leave. And the pit in my stomach as I'm leaving here, because I know, A, that there's people behind here that have stayed, because they physically, their car couldn't make it out. We leave, and all day long I'm struggling and struggling and struggling. And then the Lord began to speak. It got real and it got personal. And all of a sudden, it wasn't just about a building campaign. It was about the journey of being hungry for that new place. Because we're about refinement. We're about kingdom work. Mark Avery did a great job of just giving you a taste of that kingdom work that's ahead of us. But you see, we can't be for that kingdom work when we're so distracted and we live year to year thinking, what is the floodwaters going to do? So before we left, when I walked out to the car, I could see the fog sitting on the other side of the dike, and I knew the water was there. So I walked to the top of the dike right before we left, and there's the water. 3 feet from the top of the dike. And we were still hours from peaking. And realizing that it's not necessarily if that water comes over that dike, it's about everything else, because all the sides have already flooded. There's no way in or out. And the fact that I was spending my day and I was being distracted. What was I going to miss because I'm distracted by what's happening on this campus and what the water is doing, as opposed to looking for opportunity to witness and pray that day. So when I tell you that I had to be transparent, it was the story that God gave me. It's the experience and the journey and the refocusing and the realignment of where God's put that in my life. Sunday morning, I got to walk into that building, and it is the sweetest place. And our future is there. And so I want to encourage you to come alongside us, to be hungry for this. Be hungry in the journey, because it will take all of us to make that happen, to get over there. And so I want to encourage you to be a part of it. For those of you that have already contributed, have been a part of it, who've been praying, who've been diligent, thank you very much. Please do not stop, because this is a test of faith, but it's also a test, it's a journey for all of us. And there are many more hearts that are waiting to come to experience the journey of refinement. If you have any questions, we'll be around after the service. Would love to visit with you, pray with you, answer any questions. And more importantly, we just ask that you just join this journey of hunger and refinement. Thank you.